Well, actually, can you explain the differences between intuition and the other spiritual senses? I know there's clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizance.
Intuition is those aha moments where you just have those knowings, the instant knowings. Clairvoyance, to me, is how we use our third eye, which is right here in the middle of your forehead. And that's where we see things that aren't there. We're shown things that aren't there. We're shown things that we need to know about. Clairaudience goes into the auditory processing area of the brain above the ears. So we're not hearing it into our ears, but we're getting it, through our brain. And then claircognizance is clear knowing. That goes right into crown chakra. And what I mean is, and clairsentience is clear feeling. And that's a real interesting one because clear feeling can either be something tactile or either picking up on something that's, on the surface of the skin, or we're feeling something with our fingers, or we're actually getting emotional pain. It can be emotions that we can pick up on when we're using clairsentience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I use clairsentience when I'm looking for pain in animals too. I get that a lot, because I'm trying to figure out where they hurt. And it's so fascinating to me because I'm just shown a hologram. I don't know if you've seen the show The Good Doctor, but when he's trying to figure stuff out, there's a hologram right in front of him of the situation or the problem. And it's like he's shown these diagrams, and then he instantly has a knowing about what it is and where it is. And so I get that all the time, and I'm shown, in a dog or a cat or a horse or whatever, where the problem is. And it's nice because you don't have to look at the whole animal. You just have to look at where they're pointing out the problem area.
Hi, Terri. Welcome to the Awakened Heart podcast.
Thanks so much for having me. It's really an honor.
I'm so thrilled that you are here. And I love, first of all, we were talking about your name, the Cowgirl Shaman, and what we're going to talk about here. But I would like, before we go into your story and how you're a medium and you're intuitive, you can channel like the spirit of animals and you're a horse whisperer. I mean, so many times we've had the death of a pet, and it's so overwhelming that you can be able to connect that spirit of that animal with the people that are grieving so hard. I grieved the death of pets so hard. It just leaves this huge space within us. So there's that. And then Alzheimer's. My mom has Alzheimer's, and that you work with people with traumatic brain injuries, and you have so many tools in your tool belt. And the thing you want to teach people, we want to have people to come away with this conversation, is everybody has the ability to be intuitive. And you have tools and you have resources to help people tune into that. So that is such an empowering message for you to share with everybody, because so many of us are relying on other people. You need other people to guide you, like yourself, but then we have the ability to be sovereign and have our own telepathic and psychic intuitive powers. So, but I digress there. I wanted to hear you explain to me how you came up with your name as Cowgirl Shaman. Can you let our audience know how that came together?
Sure. I've been a horse person my whole life. I started riding as a child, and then I was a professional horse person my whole life, meaning I made my living with horses. And I did a horseback therapy program with disabled kids. But I'm out in Nevada, and it's pretty Western out here where I live. It's just cattle grazing and hay fields. And so I thought, yeah, I would consider myself a cowgirl. And I'm really down to earth. I'm out there every morning cleaning stalls, feeding horses, doing all the stuff that all us horse people do. And then shaman, to me, makes it sort of an anomaly because one's really down to earth and the other one's kind of airy-fairy. And I thought that was a really cool combination because to me, a shaman is a healer, and the work I do is very healing for people. And yet a shaman also can connect to other realms. And it's a perfect description of what I do.
Mm-hmm. It very much is. Very much is. So Terri, your journey as the Cowgirl Shaman is so unique. Can you take us back to the moment you realized you had intuitive gifts?
Well, I don't call them gifts. I call them skills and abilities because we all have them.
Mm-hmm.
I think like musicians and artists, they're gifted. But this stuff, very ordinary,
Mm.
very run of the mill abilities that
And
everybody
people don't
has.
think that. They
No,
think like,
they
"Oh my
don't. They
gosh, I
no, they
wasn't
always say, "Oh, you're
gifted."
so gifted." No, no, no. And I really just make a face when I hear, some other medium that goes, "Yes, I'm special. I have gifts." And I'm going to go, "Yeah, you're short bus special maybe, but
We
that's it."
all have gifts. We all have
Sure.
gifts.
Yeah. But I call them abilities. But what happened with me is in 1990, I was doing a horseback therapy program with disabled kids. And I picked a child up out of his wheelchair and put him on the back of one of the horses. And he looked at me and said, "Ouch, I have a cramp in my hip." That's pretty normal for a CP child. So I looked at him and I said, "Here, sit this way. It'll take the cramp out." And he said, "Hey, you can hear me." And I said, "Well, of course I can hear you." It didn't dawn on me at the time that he was nonverbal. He
Oh my
wasn't speaking
goodness.
out loud, because I was just so immersed in doing the horseback therapy. And so we went about our business doing, our couple rounds of the playground where we worked. When him and I carried on this wonderful conversation about all kinds of things that had nothing to do with horseback riding. So I took him off the horse and put him back in his wheelchair and he went back to class. And the gal that was helping me, she said, "Boy, he's sure talking great." And I said, "Well, he's very bright. Just because he has CP doesn't necessarily mean he has any cognitive issues." And she said, "Terry, he didn't say a word he can't remember. If I was a horse, I would have done a buck fart snort because they do all three of those things when they're spooked." And I was spooked. So I went into the classroom and they put a pointer on his head with a band and he had typed out on his computer with his head, "Horse lady can hear me."
Oh,
So I had
wow.
instant confirmation. So then I stood there talking with him and realized I was hearing his thoughts. That the unique thing about him is that he thought in words and he thought in whole sentences. So that was, a very good introduction for this because then I realized, yeah, I'm really hearing him and he's really talking to me. So when I went back outside and I told the gal that was helping me, she just very matter of fact said, "Well, you got to learn to communicate with the horses because all animals are telepathic." And I, like an idiot, "Okay, that's what I'm going to do." I was so naive about the whole process at the time. And there were no books at the time. Oh my goodness, maybe one book on animal communication, and that was it. And so I just, started on down this journey. And people always say, "Oh, Terry, you got it so together. And you're just so calm and collected." It's like, no, this has been a journey for me. I was a screwed up mess when I found out I was intuitive. So I've done a lot of self healing too. And the more that you do, the more you can provide for others because you can only help others to the level and degree that you've healed yourself. So it's really been a journey, a
Mhm.
delightful, painful one, but a journey nonetheless.
How did growing up or living around horses influence your spiritual development? Because I know how intuitive horses are. I mean, animals all are, but I've really especially heard about horses, how intuitive they are. And that's why when you get on a horse, they can feel like if you're fearful, they can
Mhm.
feel that through your body. If you're calm, they can feel that as well.
They just saved me. They
Mhm.
basically saved my life. I mean, there's no other way to say it because with what I went through in my childhood, I should have ended up a drug addict, alcoholic hooker. Seriously,
Oh
I should
gosh, that's a good description.
have. And the horses saved me because when you have horses, you have to be responsible. You have to have a schedule. They're on a schedule. And so everything you have to, have a job and keep a job and save money and put money away for hay and vet bills and farriers. And, you never have enough money. You never do.
Mhm.
But it just really kept me on the straight and narrow for my whole life.
And the love you have for your animal too. It's something you have to do. Yes, we're going to do it because we love this
Oh,
horse,
yeah.
these animals that
There,
speak to us.
it's really amazing now because I was messing with my gelding this morning and asking him to move. And it's like that used to be such a big deal. And now it's like, "Can you back up?" I mean, that's how I ask him to back up. And of course he does. And
Mm,
you just get so light. You get so light with your requests. You get so light with your hands, so light with your legs. And when you think about what you want them to do, they just do it. You picture it, feel it, send it with intention, and they get it.
mhm,
And it's really it just makes you a softer and softer rider and communicator with them.
mhm.
It does make them demanding though, because they know I can hear them. So my mare will back into me and lift one hind leg for me to clean her udder.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
now. She's not patient about it.
So how does it come across when when you're hearing an animal? Is it in our language or is it senses, or how do you put what they're telling you into something that you can understand?
It's very interesting, but a lot of times the first thing they come forward with is a smell because their whole world is all about smells. That's how they
Mhm.
keep themselves safe and fed and watered. So a lot of times they will give you a smell first, and you have to apologize and go, nose not work, how person look, how dog look, that what they're talking about. And it's pulses of information is the easiest way I can describe it. It's a taste, a smell, a feel, like a feeling. It can be a physical feeling, but you just get it across, you know. If I say to my gelding, Erica's coming, we're going to ride today, she sends me a picture of her face and he tries to send me her smell, which I don't know what her smell is, right?
Mhm.
And then I just can tell him yes.
What can animals teach us when we tune into them intuitively? Is there a
Oh my
story
goodness.
involving an animal connection that deeply moved you?
I think they all are. The biggest thing for me that seems to help people the most is how fast they reincarnate to get back with us once they've lost their physical form.
Wow.
Yeah, they always come back. I lost 2 dogs, no, 3 dogs in 4 years, and it's heartbreaking. And of course, they were all
Yes.
teenagers, late teenagers, but it breaks your freaking heart.
Mhm.
Then I got 2 puppies, and all 3 of the dogs are in both of the dogs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so reincarnation doesn't have to be linear. It can be, but it doesn't have to be.
Mhm.
And so my 2 dogs now, which are rotten ass cattle dogs, they do some very bizarre behaviors that all 3 of the other ones did. So it's just really, you have to just pay attention to see that. But they always try to come back. And animals are really notorious for walk-ins. And that's when their spirit will walk into either a new dog or horse or cat that you get, or if you get a new one, or they'll even walk into one you already have.
Mhm.
And so that's been really interesting.
That's interesting because I had somebody else that came on that she was a walk-in soul, she said. Well, she started her life as one, and then her walk-in soul is what's in there now. It was so interesting. I didn't know animals could do the same thing.
I think they do it more than humans. And
Yeah.
I think unfortunately a lot of people that are in psych wards that talk about having multiple personalities not due to trauma, I think a lot of them can have walk-ins.
Mhm. Mhm. I know that my, cat Taz that died well, she died a year ago, she was almost 20 years old.
Oh
It's
my goodness.
devastating with a void. I mean, she lived long, I knew it was coming, I was there for her. Still, it's like coming home every day and not seeing her there was something else. But literally a month to the day, and I had no plans of getting another animal. I'm like, "This is the first time in, I don't know, 20 something years that I haven't had an animal." More than that. A long time, 26 years or something. So I don't plan on getting one. I'm not going to get one for another 6 months. If anything, the universe loves a void. They're going to fill it like a vacuum. Let me bring my man in. Let me bring my soulmate in. Nope. A month later, my friend found a little kitten while she was walking and she reached out to me. So literally it was a month from the day that my cat Taz died that I got this kitten.
She's back.
Yeah, she is back, and I do mess up sometimes because it was supposed to be a boy, and the vet's like, "Well, I think it's a girl," and it took me about, like, 8 weeks to figure out that it was a girl, and so her name was Max, his name was Max, turned into Max. Instead of Maximus, it was Maxine, so it's Max, and I keep saying Taz, Max, Max, Taz, so I
It's the
slip
same
up and say
thing.
Taz. Yeah,
They
yes,
always try to come back. That's the coolest part.
I love
And
it.
talk about healing your heart. Oh my
Oh my
Lord.
god, yes,
It
yes,
really heals your heart.
it
And
does.
people always say, "Well, I don't want to get a substitution." It's like, "No, you're providing a shell for that spirit to return to you in."
Mhm,
It's like they want to come back and you're preventing it because, oh, there'll never be another one. And we have to provide that physical form so they can come back.
mhm. Once you process some of the grief and you allow that space for another one to come in, get another one, because sometimes people cover up the grief and then it's stuck in the body and you're
Right.
not able to process it. So when you feel ready, you feel you've mourned and honored the spirit of the animal that left, and have the space open to bring in the love of another animal. Do it.
Yeah, and unresolved grief and loss is what causes breast cancer, heart disease, lung
Mhm.
cancer, mid back problems. So when you hold on to that grief thinking that keeps you closer to the animal or human you've lost, it poisons you. It
Mhm.
absolutely poisons you.
So how does being a medical or veterinarian how does being a medical or veterinary intuitive differ from traditional approaches to healing?
I think we need all of it. I'm not anti allopathic medicine.
Mhm.
Allopathic medicine is basically drugs and surgery.
Right.
Problem I have with it though is that we're 1% physical. We're just in a little meat suit
Yep.
and a shell. And we're 99% energy. So energy healing must be a large part of any healing modality. The problem with it is it's free and you can learn to do it for yourself. That's the problem
Mhm.
with it. Nobody makes money off of it.
Yeah, it's free energy, free healing.
Yes. And I always give away for free, no charge, energy healing procedures. There's two modalities and then supporting documentation. But people just they don't even want to accept that their stuck negative emotions have caused their dis-ease.
Mhm.
And I've even gone so far after 35 years of doing this that dis-ease is disempowerment. That's the only thing that causes dis-ease. And I've had people want to argue with me and they go, but I have the genetics for it. And it's like, genetics still needs an emotional trigger
Mhm.
in order to act or become a parent. You can have a set of twins, they both have the BRCA gene for breast cancer, and
One
one
gets
gets
it, one
breast
doesn't.
cancer and the other doesn't. And it's because of what they've gone through emotionally and how they handle their
Right.
emotions, whether they hang on to them or release them.
And that's been shown on a mass scale recently, just, with the whole COVID or just it's even with flu season. People are like, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get cold. I get sick. Well, you're going to bring that into your consciousness. I
Sure.
always said, I don't get sick. I don't get sick. I've
Right.
had people that were like throwing up, like left my house throwing up on the street and, having that bug that sends you to the hospital. And I don't get it. And I don't, if
Yeah.
I get the sickness, I get the edge of sickness.
What you really want to say is, I'm so grateful, honored, and joyful for my perfect health
Hmm. Yep.
instead of I don't get sick, because the
Exactly.
universe is going to hear sick
Exactly.
and give it to you. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess I don't say that in those particular words
No,
as
you
I'd be
don't.
sick. Yeah. Like I trust in my body's ability to heal. I love my
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
way you want to do it. Always positive.
Yes. Always positive because the mind doesn't know the difference.
That's why I can't stand the word survivor or, cancer survivor or,
Yeah.
cancer free. Don't even mention that C
That
word.
word.
You
Hmm.
want to focus on, I'm so grateful, honored, and joyful I'm healthy. That's where you
Hmm.
want to go. Because then the body goes, we're healthy. Did you hear? And so it starts getting rid of the disease.
Yes.
And it works. The energy healing works. It's just incredible.
It does. And like you said, there's no profit in it. And we know
Right.
allopathic medicine has its place. Like if I'm going to get in a car accident and they have to sew my arm back on, I want that Western medicine.
Of
But
course.
so much is lost because they want to make money and they're creating the disease in order to treat it. And then it's creating another disorder and they're treating that. It's just like a whole money making like spiral. Yeah, we have the ability to heal ourselves through our thoughts, our mind,
Sure.
energy. I know scalar energy is free energy from the moon and stars, and it's been suppressed in a lot of ways. So there's scalar energy. It's like it's all around us, and we have the ability to heal ourselves.
Sure.
Yep.
So I love giving away the energy healing instructions to anybody that wants them. And in really serious cases where somebody has a serious disease, I refer them to an energy healer.
Hmm.
And the miracles that this guy has done are just phenomenal, just off the charts. He
Wow.
cured my sister's
Congratulations.
lymphoma in one session,
Wow.
and she
That's
was given
incredible.
6 months to live.
And was she open and receptive to it?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Obviously, if it helped her,
yeah.
she had to
And
be
that was
receptive
that
to
was
it.
in 2001.
Wow. And it's
She's
gone.
fine.
And it's gone. Yeah, there's many things about health that we like. There's a lot of thought leaders. There's a lot of people that are bringing it more to the forefront. Some incredible people where it's not our genes that create disorder. It's our environment, it's our thoughts, it's our habits, it's our stress, it's unresolved emotions. Like you said, only 1% of us is physical and the rest of us are energetic. So it
Right.
would behoove us and make sense to use energy to heal ourselves. And there's some
Yeah, and then
incredible
too many
stories.
people, they focus on diet and exercise and clean eating and being a vegan or a vegetarian, and they
Like
think
food.
they're like circumventing the system or something doing that. It's like, no, you're focusing on the 1%. But if you're
Hmm.
holding on to stuck negative emotions, you're still going to get dis-ease, right?
Right. Right. Now, you have said, like, I don't have gifts. I don't call them intuitive gifts. And you say we're all born with intuitive abilities. Why do you think so many of us lose touch with them?
I think we start using them as a child or a toddler, and we point to a blank wall and say, "Grandpa, Grandpa," and everybody goes, "No," and they're grieving Grandpa, so they've just triggered everybody. So the child is talking to the deceased grandfather, and they turn him around, and the child's going, "But Grandpa, and they've never met Grandpa, you know. So that spooked everybody. So they try to get him to be quiet and turn around and not talk about it. And they don't let that child have a voice about what they're seeing and feeling and picking up on. And they'll take it so far as to tell them, stop lying.
Wow.
You're going to get in trouble for lying because grandpa's not there. Grandpa's in heaven. And becomes very confusing for a child when that happens. And so we all end up shutting it off. We turn it off.
For protection
Yes.
and keep us from being shamed or humiliated.
Right.
I would, I know better. If there's a kid that's like, oh, I see a where is it? I get so excited because they're so close to the other side. They see way more things. They attract way more energies than we do as we get older and we
Sure.
start putting filters and we start like making our instincts wrong and just denying the mystical. Children are so tied to it. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's really amazing. We're just working with kids for 35 years off and on doing that therapeutic writing program. My goodness, the stuff they came out with, and especially nonverbal kids talking for the first time, to the horse, or you try to take them off. No, they didn't want to get off the horse. And those little kids are just treasures. Oh, I still miss it. I still miss it. We've got a therapeutic writing program around the corner for me. So if I ever miss it too much, I can always go over there and volunteer.
Hmm. How far away is that from you?
It's just a mile.
Oh, just a mile. Okay. So it's
Yeah,
really super
it's
close.
close.
That's nice. And that's what you've talked about in your earlier story, communication beyond words, like how you first discovered, oh, I'm hearing him because you work with individuals who are nonverbal due to autism, Alzheimer's, brain injuries, or coma. So you explained a little bit how you connected with him. You didn't know how you connected with him. Now that you've developed your abilities more, how do you connect and communicate with them energetically?
It really just depends on their state. Are they dying? Has it not been determined? Or are we dealing with somebody who's like a nonverbal autistic? Really depends on their state, and I go into this in my book about intuitive communication about, I break it down into, I get rid of the medical stuff. I share the medical stuff, and then I break it down into three. Are they here and present and we just nonverbal and don't have any other way to communicate? Or are we dealing with somebody who's might pass, hasn't been determined? Or are we dealing with somebody who's getting ready to pass? And it kind of breaks it down into three different areas. The people that are getting ready to pass, that are like in a coma, they're pretty happy campers. They usually aren't feeling any pain. They've had visitation from people that are also on the other side. And then the people that are kind of in the middle, it's just based really on the feelings that you get from them. I did a coma communication just the other day, and I went, there's no dead people around this person. None. No visitations. Nobody was visiting. So I had great hopes that this person was going to get energy healing and come out of it, come out of what happened. It was a traumatic brain injury, just fell and hit their head. You just never know what's going to happen. One guy I communicated with in Hawaii, he was in a coma from a ruptured brain aneurysm, and he was sitting on a fence when I tuned into him. And all I need
Mm.
is their name, age, what happened, maybe what they did for a living. Boom, I got them every time. It's really amazing. But if you just look for those kinds of things that are specific to that individual, you can get them. There's no blurring or picking up on the wrong person's energy. It's a long way between here and Hawaii. So to get that person, you usually connect through one of their loved ones, and it works out great.
Mhm.
And he shared all kinds of things about his daily life, his work. He wanted somebody to make sure they paid his bills. He showed me exactly where his checkbook was and his bills. I mean, really detailed information. So I was really blown away by that.
Wow.
And he made a complete recovery and went home, no
Wow.
residual damage. So that's like unheard of.
So with someone like with Alzheimer's, my mom has Alzheimer's and she was a art teacher her whole life. She always had her hands involved with so many things. I really feel like it was an environment that got her because she used to eat really healthy and we're now learning that it's diabetes for the brain, like so much sugar, yada yada. But how do you reach someone with Alzheimer's? Like,
It's the same way. Their
mhm,
consciousness is still there. Their
mhm,
higher self is still there. And it's just a matter of where they're at in their progress. I hate to use that word, but
yeah,
just in their
progression.
progress. But you can still get them if they have any awareness. Like with your mom, I'd have her doing art projects.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
It comes back to her a lot of times. Things will come back to her. It's so crazy how sometimes like she of course, when she goes to doctor's appointments, there's nothing wrong with her. She'll be complaining about aches and pains. She gets to a doctor's, "Oh, nothing's wrong with me. I'm fine." And then she spewed out her birthday. Usually I have to remind her of her birthday. She came right out and said her birthday. And then there's some things that she gave her a massage for her birthday and she remembered, "Oh, she kept touching me everywhere and it was remarkable." And went on and on. And then other times, as soon as you're done answering her, she's asking the same question again and again and again and
right.
again. So,
It just depends. And our job with somebody that's like that, we can communicate with them telepathically too and reach the higher self. And the higher self may have ability to control the physical self.
mhm.
So, you can use it both ways.
That's what we used to tell my dad. My dad was so heartbroken. I mean, he was 96 when he passed. And he would be so heartbroken. He'd be like, "Oh, she's one person one day and one person the next day." She was his soulmate, but so heartbroken because she'd think that he was her father. And I'm like, "Dad, she's still there." Because he'd get frustrated
Yep.
sometimes. I'm like, "Dad, she's still there. She's there sometimes. She's
Yeah.
behind her mind. So she's
I
still that girl."
I think the cause of a lot of those brain diseases like Lewy body dementia, frontotemporal dementia, and Alzheimer's, I think a lot of those are because the person is done living but afraid to die. I think that
Mhm.
phrases it pretty well. And so it's the long goodbye, as they say. But they're afraid to die, but they're still here and still in a physical body that is not deteriorating completely.
Mhm. So some of them live in another because my mom's in memory care and I see some of them. My mom's the most there person in her memory care. But yeah, that makes sense that some of them might be just ready to go. Their body is just like betraying them and they're still there in their mind or they go somewhere in their mind.
Right.
What is one of the most surprising or profound experiences you've had working with someone in a nonverbal state?
Oh God, there's so many of them. I think the guy in the coma who woke up out of it and went home, that was
Mhm.
the details that he gave me. I mean, describing things, and I shared that with his niece. His niece was who I was connected to. And everything I said, she goes, "Yeah, oh yeah, I know exactly where that is. Oh yeah, I know exactly what that is." And he was giving me details about his life. And I was smelling green coffee. And she says, "Oh, well, he's a coffee farmer." And
Mhm.
then I said, "No, he's showing me this thing that looks like it's motorized, but it looks like a rickshaw or something." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, that's how he takes the coffee beans out of the field." I mean,
Wow.
detail after
Wow.
detail. The color of the table, vinyl tablecloth on a two-person table that was under a window. I mean, it was just detail after detail that he gave me. And everything checked out with her. I mean, she'd been to his house, so she knew exactly what I was talking about. I think those things they're just amazing.
Yeah, they are. And you've had to come to a point where when you get these messages or these images or you hear something, you just have to, okay, it's coming to me. You just have to trust it and then convey that message. And it usually does mean something to somebody that knows this person that you're communicating with intuitively.
Well, Nancy, even when it doesn't, I tell them, write it down
Yeah,
because a lot of times they're not on the same page as
right.
me. And I tell them, just write it down. And I've had people for an hour say, no, 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 for an hour. And I'm
Mm,
going, oh, and do I have them? And my guides go, yeah, you got him. This is all valid. You got him.
mm,
And, 2 days later, I get a 5-page email from them saying, oh, yeah, okay, here's what I missed. I can't believe I missed all this stuff. And here's how it all jives. And it was all true and it was all valid. And I just wasn't there. I just wasn't thinking about
yeah.
it. So, there's very few times when I can't get someone who is not communicative, that
Mhm,
and we're talking about people that they don't have any communication device. I mean, a lot of autistic kids now, they have a communication device where they can actually, pull up pictures or even, they're doing all of that spell to speak, which is really good. Um, I'm still shocked. I mean, I've been doing this 35 years and I'm still shocked at what comes through.
mhm.
It's really just amazing.
It's pretty incredible, and it's incredible for the individual that you're providing an outlet for to communicate.
I was talking with this gal who she had a foal that wouldn't nurse. And I was shown a baby that was tongue-tied. You can imagine that? The foal
Mhm.
couldn't nurse. And I went,
Wow.
"Oh, this is hyoid bone, hyoid. This is hyoid bone. The hyoid bone is out of place." And I was shown the birth by my guides. And I was shown one leg came out first, and then the other one, the fetlock joint. This is not the fetlock joint, this is my wrist. But the fetlock joint was under the jaw, and during a contraction, it went up under the jaw and dislodged the hyoid bone. Well, they were able to get the hyoid bone back in position, and the foal immediately started nursing.
That's an incredible story, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it is. I mean, how are you gonna get that? I tease people and just say, I'm just a good listener, that's all.
Mm.
And I argue with my guides when I'm being given information. I do still. I can't be right. I'm not going to tell them that. And it's like they biff me on the back of the head and go, tell them. And even if there's been times they've given me wrong information and I knew it was wrong information. And they said that is in their best interest. I went, all right. And then they'll call me back and go, remember that reading you did and you told me blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, yours was the wrong information. You knew it was wrong. Yes, but it had a happy ending, didn't it? And they go, yes, you can't believe what happened.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just have to listen to my guides and stay out of my own way and have
Mhm.
no ego in the process. It's not about, me being the dog and pony show, literally. It's not.
Yeah, you have to get out of your own way because I know I've done stuff like Reiki. I'm level 1 and 2. I'm going to do the master just to get the attunement. I don't know what I'll use it for. Initially, when I first did it, this was probably a decade ago. I'm like, I was too embarrassed to like try it on people because I didn't like trust. I didn't want to be embarrassed, like if I came up with the wrong thing. And now I'm in a point of my life where I'm just going to tell you what I see.
Sure, that's
And people,
important.
yeah.
But make sure you ask me for the 2 modalities that I have, Nancy, because the problem with hands-on healing
Hmm.
is go back to what we talked about. People are sick because they're disempowered. If you lay hands on them, which is valid and works, but if you lay hands on them, they never get their power back.
Right. Right.
So
Well, there's
to
remote
me,
too. Hmm.
energy healing should be coached.
Hmm.
It should be coached. People need to be coached to heal themselves. And as we just talked about, it doesn't matter even if they're in a coma, they can
Right.
still be coached to heal themselves.
Hmm.
And even if they pass, they're still going to pass at a higher frequency or vibration than they were before the healing. So
Yes.
they're still going to get a benefit, whether it's in this life or the next one.
Yes, it's empowering everybody. It's empowering them to do the things that I mean, I'm going to train to do it, but it's something that anybody can go and learn to do. And it's just like somebody that goes to a counselor for like years and years, talk therapy, years, and they're so reliant on them. They're not developing the tools that they need to be able to like drop within and get that own counseling through their
Right,
own wise self. So they're becoming dependent on somebody else. I mean,
right.
it's okay to initially get that to get you on into the direction, and then you have to take power back. It's just like AA. I feel like it's good. It gets a lot of people out of a bad situation. But then I feel like AA becomes a drug to a lot of these people. And it's like they're so reliant, almost like a cult, so reliant on this organization. It supersedes everybody else. I mean, it's God and then it's AA and then it's everybody else. So at a certain point, they have to learn to take their own power back
Right.
themselves. They've been given the tools.
Yeah, I agree with you. But the energy healing is just, it's so simple. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, it's so simple. And I always tell people, listen, if you can do it on you without looking at the paper, once you print it out,
Mhm.
if you can do it on you without looking at the paper, then you can coach other people. And I have people that just using the two modalities I send, they're going great guns coaching people to heal themselves.
And it's like the message of Jesus of Nazareth. He was teaching until they bastardized his what he was trying to teach, giving our power away to some organization or somebody sitting in the sky. Is the kingdom of heaven is within. He was showing us who he was and who we
Sure.
all could be. That was the beautiful message that he shared thousands of years ago, and that we are all miracle workers. We are
Yes,
all in the image of the divine, or we are the divine. We're all part of
we
it.
are. We're the same energy. He said all this and more you can do. He was
Yes.
either doing a healing, going to a healing, or coming from a healing. And he
Yes.
said, all this and more you can do. And for
Mhm.
some reason, that message has really gotten lost.
Yep.
And it's amazing what we can do when we have a technique or a modality to use. The miracles just happen left and right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. More and more of us, I feel, are starting to tap in and tune in a lot more and taking our power back from all these entities that we've given them to. We're sovereign beings. We have the ability, we're gifted from the divine, and we have there's energy like it's crazy like how much energy. Do you ever you think about it, like when I airdrop something from my phone to my computer, like where is this going, like
Yep.
all this information, how does that work? It's
Yep.
just like literally is from there to there. There's all these, I mean, if they could show, I think I've seen a graph before where all these like green energy, red energy is this, and then, then you've got the cloud, and then you've got your astral body and all this. There's just so much
Well,
more
think
that we
about
can
think
see.
about how many times we think about somebody that we haven't heard from in a long time, and all of a sudden the phone rings and it's
Yeah.
them. Well, who sent who the message? And
Yeah.
communicating without phones, without even cell phones.
Yeah. And that's the simplest way that shows that we are all intuitive. And it's such a
Yeah,
cool validation when that happens. And when you start trusting yourself more and more of that shows up. So it gives you more validation to open yourself up more. And then soon you're just like in this, not a state of believing or hoping or trusting it. You're in a plate of being, like you're in a place of being and embodiment. And that's the
right,
next step. I used to always have the motto, believe, believe. No. And then hope is the beggar, but like knowing, because then you're embodying it.
right. It's a really fun to do this. Sometimes when I'm out in public, I do get overwhelmed, but most of the time it's just so gratifying and yeah, asking a question of the universe and instantly being given
It's
that
amazing.
answer before you've even finished the question on all kinds of things. To me, it's really it saves a lot of time, truthfully,
Mhm.
because you're not wondering.
Mhm.
I mean, there's
Just
there's times when I thought I need my such and such, and as I'm asking that question, I'm being shown where it is and how it looks where it is. It's like, oh, I know where it is, and I can just go
mhm.
and get it. So it's very helpful for retrieving lost objects. I
Yeah.
can't seem to do it for other people, but I can do it for myself.
I do that with my glasses all the time. Like, why is I need a beeper on my glasses. Like I pick it up, I walk into another room, I leave it in another room. Of course, I have glasses in every room because I can't
Right,
read anything small without it. But yeah, so I need to tune into that more and just trust that I'm going to be given where my damn glasses are.
right.
Well, I just have a few more questions before we go. I would love
Okay.
to hear from you how actually, can you explain the differences between intuition and the other spiritual senses? I know there's clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizance.
Intuition is those aha moments where you just have those knowings, the instant
Mhm.
knowings. Clairvoyance to me is how we use our third eye, which is right here in the middle of your forehead. And that's where we see things that aren't there. We're shown things that aren't there. We're shown things that we need to know about. Clairaudience goes into the auditory processing area of the brain above the ear. So we're not hearing it into our ears, but we're getting it, through our brain. Then claircognizance is clear knowing. That goes right into crown chakra. And what I mean is, and clairsentience is clear feeling. And that's a real interesting one because clear feeling can either be something tactile or either picking up on something that's, on the surface of the skin, or we're feeling something with our fingers, or we're actually getting emotional pain. It can be emotions that we can pick up on when we're using clairsentience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I use clairsentience when I'm looking for pain in animals too. I get that a lot, because I'm trying to figure out where they hurt. And it's so fascinating to me because I'm just shown a hologram. I don't know if you've seen the show The Good Doctor, but when
Mm-mm.
he's trying to figure stuff out, there's a hologram right in front of him of the situation or the problem. And it's like he's shown these diagrams, and then he instantly has a knowing about what it is and where it is. And so I get that all the time. And I'm shown, in a dog or a cat or a horse or whatever, where the problem is. And it's nice because you don't have to look at the whole animal. You just have to look at where they're pointing out the problem area. So I think that comes under clairsentience too, clear feeling.
So a diagram, because I've never seen the show. So is it actually a diagram, like something they place in his mind, or it's something he physically has? So when he's reading on an animal, he's being guided to point something on a poster or a graph.
Well, he's only reading humans. He's
Okay.
a human
Okay.
doctor.
Okay.
And so it's like a hologram in front of him.
So, okay. But
It's
on the
out
show, do they
here.
kind of, okay, so on the show though, they
They show a
animate
hologram.
that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, they do animate it. That's a really good word.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not in him, it's out in front of him.
Okay.
And blessedly, they don't show it like the top of his head where he goes, "Aha, I've got it." It's always out in front of him.
Yeah, I know
Yeah, that
another
would be too corny if they did that.
medium. I know another medium that described that, how that's how she sees it. It's like almost like a graph that she sees in front of her.
Yeah. With horses, I'm often put above them. I'm above them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking down on them.
Mm.
And I'm being shown like their sacrum. Their sacrum goes out all the time, and then it affects their movement and performance. And then I'm actually taken inside and shown maybe their whole adductor system. And then, but it's almost like I call it the golden finger because it looks like a hologram of a finger that taps, like, pay attention here. What is
Mm-hmm.
this? And then once they point it out to me, it's like, I know what that is, and then I've got it. But,
Mm.
if it's TMJ, they're doing this on the side of the horse below the ear. But it's
The tapping the fingers.
the golden finger. Yeah. And I even get the golden finger when I watch very little television, but sometimes I'll watch the home improvement shows. If there's a commercial on, I've had the golden finger tap on a commercial. Like, all right,
Okay.
Kraft macaroni and cheese. And they'll go, look, 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 look. It's like that constantly. Okay, I got it. And sure enough, the next day I'm doing a reading, talking to a dead guy. And the dead guy is jumping around his kitchen with a blue box in each hand. And I tell my client, he's jumping around the kitchen. He's got a blue box of Kraft macaroni and cheese in each hand. She bursts into tears. Oh my God, that's all he ever cooked for me. So
Oh
it's
my
almost
gosh.
like the guides knew I needed that information because otherwise I'd got a blue box. I don't know what the heck that is, right?
Saying that, you often connect with people and loved ones who have passed. What do
Oh
you think
God,
is
yes.
most
So fun.
what do you think is most misunderstood about death and the other side?
Oh God, there's so much BS about it.
Mhm.
Everybody, we have to remember again, we're 1% physical, we're 99% energy. So when the physical
It's
body
a
can't support
transition.
us anymore, we pop out of it. And we kind of go, oh, that felt weird. And we have a joygasm as we're leaving, which is the coolest feeling. I always get that from my animals when they've passed. It's like they go through you on the way out. It's just amazing. And so once we're out, we don't have any connection or recognition to our physical form. It isn't like, oh, there's my body. Oh no,
Mhm.
I'm dead. There's none of that. We just know. We have that knowing. And once we're completely reunited with Source, it's everything negative gets shed off and left behind in the earthly realm. all the pain, suffering, all that stuff, unfinished business, regrets, all of that stuff gets shed off. Where a lot of mediums screw up, and even the TV mediums do this, they don't use physics. Everything I use has got to be physics based, energy, frequency, vibration. And they'll tune into that shed off negative energy and they'll share it because it looks like, feels like, and sounds like the deceased. They'll share it as if it is how the person is. Oh, they're stuck. They haven't crossed over. And oh, they're suffering terribly. What they're doing is dumpster diving. They're in the garbage that was shed off. That's not how the
Mm,
person is on the other side. He'll
yeah.
even say, "Oh, and for $59.95, I can help get them to the other side." No,
Mm-mm.
no, no, that's just their garbage.
No, it's- no, they're free spirits.
Yeah,
They're back to their
absolutely.
source and their real form, unless they're stuck in some kind of, what
There's
is
no
it, gray
stuck.
area? There's no?
There's no,
Okay.
well, your mom is stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People with Alzheimer's, coma, other dementias, traumatic brain injuries, their body's kind of done,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still stuck here. That's the only stuck I know about.
Mm,
Because
okay.
everybody that I know they pop out of their body and just they're instantly one with source energy.
So there's no purgatory, the no in
No, no,
between.
no, no. And it's really sad because there's one very well-known medium that was raised Catholic and he professes that and says that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
total BS
Mm-hmm.
because he's going off of what he's learned. And so when he reads stuck negative energy or shed off negative energy, he'll share, oh, they're in purgatory. No, there's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
The only people that are really stuck are those that are in the process of
Got it.
dying.
Got it. Well, that's got to be such a relief for so many people that are grieving when their loved one
Sure.
passes over. So, as an intuitive, you can help them really understand and help them through that grieving process.
Well, what's really hard for me is a lot of times when I tune into somebody, my instant impression is that they're freaking hilarious.
Mm.
And I want to be observant and respectful of their grief, but the dead person is really making me crack up.
Yeah, sounds like my mom.
And I have to share that. And I have to go, this
Yeah.
guy is so funny. Oh my God, he missed his calling. He should have been a comedian. And then I get specifics and share those, and then they're laughing and crying at the same time.
Mm.
So it's still very, very healing. It
Mhm.
really is. And they're around all the time. I still have coffee with my mom every morning, and she's been gone since 18.
Uh,
We have coffee every morning, 8 o'clock.
well, I assigned the number 2 to my dad. So whenever I see 222, I'm like, Dad's here. He was there on her. I'm like, Mom, Dad's here. It was her birthday. I was taking her out. And I've also heard that, like, if you lift up a piece of paper, you look at from here to the other, that's how close they are. Like the other side is
Yeah,
that close. Like it's here.
yep. Well, you can actually feel them.
Hmm.
If your pet passes, I've had people say just as they were falling asleep, they felt the cat walking up the bed just as they were falling asleep.
My friend used to have a ghost kitty. Well, she'd have electronic things happen to her wherever she would move to, like lights would bust or, something would stop working or lights would flash. But she always had a ghost kitty. Like one of her homes, she had a ghost kitty that would come visit her. Literally, she'd feel it jump up on the bed
Right, right.
and purring. Yeah, her little ghost
They're
kitty.
always around. I mean, they don't go anywhere. They're
Hmm.
not gone. And the problem is when we first lose somebody, we're not immersed in their grief. We're kind of in shock.
Hmm.
And that's when we're still able to pick up on them because we still have a high vibration. But as the grieving process goes on, we drop our vibration and frequency more and more and more. And we think they've left and it's just us. We've dropped our frequency.
Hmm.
And if we think about how much we love them, not how much we miss them, because that's a negative, but if we think about how much we love them, then it raises our own vibration and frequency, and then we can feel them again.
Hmm. And you've mentioned that everything in the universe has a vibration. How do we raise our own vibration to access more joy, health, and clarity?
I would say just with intention, set your intention to raise it. Give thanks for raising it. Give thanks for having a high vibration. Just those two things can really make a huge difference. And I really think people need to deal with their stuff. I don't know very few people that don't have childhood crap that they haven't dealt with yet. whether it's abuse or neglect. Disempowerment is the main one. They've lost their power that they came into this physical form with. And so to try to get their power back can be very, very beneficial and help them to raise their vibration.
Mm, mhm. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, this has been such a great conversation. I just have one or two more questions before we go. Um, I'm going to go into this because I did just come across this on your website. I thought it was really cool and looks so interesting. Is the Paul T. Goldman series? It
No.
was what was it called? The Disaster Artist. It looked like something I'd want to watch. It looks really cool. It
No,
looks like
Paul contacted me back in like 2000. So I just got married, and my new bride is asking me to put her name on all of my assets. I said, God, Paul, she feels like a hooker. He goes, what? I said, yeah, she doesn't want the money on the dresser. She wants your stuff.
ah,
And he goes, it's my wife. I said, she wants to be paid for sex. I said, that's how she's looking at it. I said, she really feels like a hooker. And so anyway, he hired a private detective, and sure enough, she was. And so I sort of helped him get through the divorce and all of that stuff. And it was just really a whole bizarre scenario. But I did get to play myself in
yeah.
the series, and Dee Wallace played me. And
Oh my
you
gosh, she
know,
was my teacher, Dee Wallace Stone. I took Dee Wallace Stone, right?
no, Dee Wallace, the actress.
Yes, Dee Wallace, actress. She was my teacher in Los Angeles. I taught
Oh
with her acting
yeah,
classes.
yeah, that
Yeah,
would be
she was
her. Yeah,
wonderful.
she's
And she
great.
was part of the Science of the Mind or whatever. There was a church that she used to go to, so she taught a lot of, like
Yep, she's great.
she's
Yeah,
wonderful. I loved
yep,
her
she was.
classes.
And she's into energy healing and all this stuff
Yes.
too. So she was a perfect person to play me, but they made her blonde. I don't understand.
Well, I think she was blonde when I taught with her.
Well, they
This
put a
is probably
long
like
blonde wig on her to play
okay,
me.
long blonde. Yeah,
So
because
I
I
just
think
thought,
she
no,
was
that's
20, this was over 20 years ago that I took classes
yeah.
with her, but she was wonderful,
She's
wonderful.
still great, still
Yeah.
acting. She's wonderful. So it was really nice to get to meet her.
Yeah.
And when she was speaking lines that I said, because Paul recorded every reading I did with them,
Mhm.
when she was speaking those, I'd go, I said that. It was
I
pretty
saw that.
funny.
I saw that in your trailer. It's
Yeah,
great.
I wasn't happy with the reading, with the ending, but I'm not allowed to talk bad about it.
Okay. Zip. Okay, so do you have any final thoughts? What is your favorite daily practice to stay connected to your intuitive abilities?
Spending time with my horses and dogs.
Animals.
It really is. Oh my goodness, just spending time with animals. It humbles you. It really does. Keeps you humble
Mm,
because they're so giving and loving, and they teach you unconditional love. And just spending time with them is probably the best thing. But I live in such a gorgeous, gorgeous place.
mhm.
And every time I go outside, I just
Appreciate it.
take in big breaths of fresh air, and I'm just so grateful for all of the blessings that I have. It's just incredible.
There's nothing like nature. Nature really, I connects you. I used to live at the beach in like the last 6 years, I was near the ocean, really close to the ocean and the water. I loved it. But I absolutely have been drawn to the forest since I moved in 2019. I moved up to Portland for 3.5 years, moved back to Michigan, and the woods are in my backyard. I like love the trees. I'm a lake girl. I appreciate the ocean, but I'm drawn to the
Yeah.
forest and the trees.
The reason we like being around water is because the negative ions clear
Hmm.
your energy field,
Yes.
and there's negative ions always above the water. And so it
Yes.
clears your energy field. That's the physics reason why we always feel better.
Hmm. Yeah, I used to always go walk to the beach and stick my feet in the sand and
Yeah.
pull all that in and watch the sunsets. So, for somebody that's just beginning to explore their own abilities, what is one thing that they can start with today?
I would say learn to ground.
Mm,
Grounding is really important. And when you get good at it, you can even ground when you're in an airplane at 30,000 feet. You can still ground and learn to listen faster and just trust those things that you get intuitively. They'll never they'll never steer you wrong. And of course, I always recommend my books so that people can have them as a handbook to do the 7 steps to learn to do this, and know that I'm always gratified to teach people how to do this. I
mhm.
love teaching this to people.
Yeah, and that leads into the next question. How can people find you? So I've got your books up here.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I've got your books and we'll link them in the show notes. But can you tell our audience that might be driving, that might not be able to click down to the show notes, where they can find you to learn more about your work, how to work with you, and where to find your books? And if there's anything exciting that you're excited about right now that you have in the
Well, let me
works.
do that first. I'm
Okay.
working at getting my own television show. So I'm
Yay.
working with producers at Stage 32, and I'm also anticipating having my own YouTube channel and
Great.
get that going too, because um, I just need to get these messages out there. People
Hmm.
people need to just get rid of all of the BS that's involved with this field and base it in physics and take the woo woo out of it. To me,
Yes.
that's really really important to do. And so that's what I'm working on is the television show. I'm also writing the dog communication book too. So
Mm,
I'm going to do dogs, horses, and then cats, and then 2 novels. So other than
wonderful.
that, I have no plans for writing. It's a lot of writing to do.
You are a busy woman.
I think just learning to be grounded and listen faster is probably the best thing I could tell people to do.
That's the first time
As
I've
you're
heard that.
asking, as you're asking a question of the universe, you've already been sent the answer.
Yes.
And I think that's probably and that's something that a lot of people miss too. And I've looked at other people's materials, teaching materials, and I haven't seen that. I have not seen that you have to listen faster because it's telepathic.
Yeah, because I've heard that as soon as you ask something, you've already been given the answer,
Yes. And so if you get too much into your question or your thought, you're going to miss it.
or you keep asking it and again. They got it. You're not trusting that the
Right.
universe got your question or your higher self.
It's the same thing with the animals too.
Hmm.
It's the same thing with the animals.
Mm.
That as you're starting to ask them a question, they've already sent you the answers. They never learned the rules of polite conversation like we did as kids.
They just give it to us. And it's funny, we can always tune into our animal. We know what they need. We
Oh,
need know what
sure.
they need by their meows or their woofs or
They're major manipulators.
yeah,
Our animals are major manipulators. They really are.
and their gifts or their well, we can call them gifts. I feel like having an animal is a gift to what they bring to our life.
They're wonderful.
Yeah.
I just can't be without them.
Me neither. Me neither. Okay, well, wonderful. Thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation. I can't wait for my audience, our listeners, to really dive in and explore more what you have to offer, all three of your books and all the other ones. Like, I'm going to see this page. These are going to be little books because you're going to have like 10 books. And the deal that you have, it's a TV show, right? Or was it a film?
We're working on it, yeah.
Working on
And
the
the other
TV show.
thing too, that's a simple thing that I keep forgetting is I do readings every day by
Oh,
phone. I
yes.
do them all over the
Okay,
world. I
great.
keep forgetting to mention that. And I'm cheap too. I'm only 50 and 90, half hour. And you can always cover multiple subjects in any reading. So it
Right.
doesn't have to be just one thing.
Excellent. Yes, I saw that on your website, and all that will be linked in the show notes so you can easily find her and work with her. And I have one more question before we go, and
Yes,
that
ma'am.
is I would love to hear from you what it means for you to live with an awakened heart.
I just feel blessed. I feel incredibly blessed. I live every moment in gratitude. I mean,
Mm,
every moment I'm being grateful for something. And I think it just gets the ball rolling faster in your life to help you achieve whatever it is that you want by coming from gratitude.
mm,
There's a line in the summary of The Science of Getting Rich that says gratitude unifies the mind of man with the intelligence of substance so that man's thoughts are received by the formless.
mm.
And I love that sentence. I just gravitate to it. So just staying in gratitude makes you a manifester.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard that it opens up, I mean, I've done it, gratitude practices. Writing hurts my hand. I hate writing. I used to do it, write it. I'm like, oh, but I hate writing. I feel like I have carpal after, but just even getting up and saying three things that you're grateful for it opens up to more.
Yes,
If gratitude's
absolutely.
your attitude. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on today. I know it's
Thank you for
West
having
Coast,
me,
so you've got
Nancy.
more of your day going ahead of you. Mine's wrapping up. And thank you so much for coming on, and you're welcome. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
All right,
Take
thanks.
care.